Just saying.
So yeah, so that was the day, and then so a bitch is tired, a bitch is irritable still. Just because.
Oh, that means we gonna have some good conversation tonight.
Yeah.
No more wishy-washy Pisces.
Right.
Kumbaya Kerel.
I'm like, fuck that hoe. Next question.
Episode over in 45 minutes? How we get through all these episodes?
Exactly. Oh.
Hey, community. Here's what's brewing today.
Tami's Real World.
Straight bait on Drag Race.
How the Grinch stole the Matrix. So get your cups ready for Minority Report.
Hey, welcome to Minority Report. It's Auntea Kerel.
It's Auntie Dawon.
And Auntea Jerrell.
Hey, ladies.
Hey, y'all.
And it's been a few weeks
Happy
since
New
we
Year!
right? Exactly. It's like, even though we had episodes, we haven't seen each other like this in a couple weeks. So
This is
Right.
the like the magic of television podcasting.
Look, community, the funny thing is too, we had planned to take this hiatus, but we still jumped on Instagram live for like 2 hours.
Right.
And we had a whole
last episode talking about Insecure.
on IG Live.
Yeah, so if you missed that, if you were expecting to hop on here and hear us talk about Insecure, the finale and all that, hop on Instagram because we literally had 2 hours plus talking about it over there. So
And
check
shout
out
out
our
to
feed.
y'all and shout out to all the people that hopped on the gram with us and shared their opinions
absolutely.
and whatnot. Because we love that.
Absolutely, yeah, and got it. Like even like Garrett asked us like an auntie, ask your auntie's question, and all that stuff. I was like, oh shit, okay, yeah. So we got to do that more. That was actually fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. But yeah,
But,
and a heads up,
we have to.
If y'all hear coughing, I just have to let y'all know right now. I'm coming to y'all live from the COVID room at my apartment.
Woo, Omarion got you, boo.
Omarion got my ass, girl. You know, she said touch. I said,
was it good though? Was it good though?
Was it good?
Was it worth it?
I didn't even do nothing. That's the thing.
Damn.
I want to.
That was not the answer I was
tell
looking for.
I want to. Because Fizz was supposed to go back home to Europe. He didn't end up going, but like we had both decided we were going to stop socializing with people, stop going out, etc. Just a few days beforehand, so that way just to protect him for going home and seeing the family. And they didn't cancel his flight, so we were like, okay, well, let's go to this Christmas party. There was only like 9 of us there at the Christmas party. Take one.
Only takes one.
Right.
But I don't think I got it there because no one else from that party has tested positive, have had a NARE symptom. And that's the only thing I did besides walk in the snow when it snowed the next day. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only
She said,
walking
"You wanna build a snowman?"
Right.
Look, you had one of them asymptomatic motherfuckers that just be carrying the shit, but don't actually catching it.
Look, let me tell you, I spent New Year's Eve dying. Like when I tell you I was bad, like y'all, I thought I was gonna make it through the night at one point. I literally told Biz going to bed, I said, I'm gonna need you to check on me throughout the night because it didn't hurt to breathe, but it was just like breathing was kind of weak, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout the night, then my nose plugged up, so all I could do was breathe out of my mouth. And I was already having trouble breathing, so there was like a good 9 to 10 times I woke up literally gasping for air because I had stopped breathing. Like literally, I just stopped, and all of a sudden I just woke up, not breathing, and it was just it was a nightmare. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. Like
that body said, I got that good job. I can't leave. I can't leave.
Not yet. No, Lord, it ain't yet.
She said, I fought back a lot. I fought for my life,
honey.
I had to fight my brothers. I had to fight my uncles. I I never think I had to fight in my own house.
Right. But I do have to. I have to also say this though too. That was what, the 30th. I got tested on New Year's Eve. Didn't go out because I hadn't gotten results or anything like that. My results came back negative. I felt fine for about like 24, maybe 30 hours. And I'm like, okay, well, it's fine. It's my birthday. You know, a miraculous cover on my birthday. I was like,
right.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Went to brunch with some friends. Kiki had a good time. Didn't have any symptoms. They started coming back a little bit later. I just figured that because bitch, she was taking too many shots on her birthday. She getting older, you know. I just thought she was starting to hang over. Very next day, a friend texted me that was there for the brunch, was like, tested positive. I did an at-home test. Within 2 seconds, that bitch read me the filth and said, COVID.
Gotcha, bitch.
It literally says wait 15 minutes, 2 seconds.
She's like,
2 seconds.
Reels back in.
This was like, why isn't mine working? I was like, bitch, you don't want yours to work like this. I got grown up, bitch.
You got that fresh Rona. We didn't have to think about this. We didn't have to work through any genomes or nothing.
No.
She said, that's it. I smelled it and that's it.
We preached direct communication. COVID said, got it, bitch. I've been listening to the podcast.
It ran up that strip.
She said, you ain't even got to put the stick in. You got
it. You got it, ho.
Because they have you close the flap and like press the end. As soon as I pressed it, COVID. Happened so fast. I was so mad. Like, damn.
Right.
Yeah.
But and obviously we're laughing and joking about it, and we know it's a serious matter, but it also shows Auntie Henny is vaccinated. So
yeah,
that's a huge piece
and
of
boosted.
And boosted. So that's just a huge thing. And it's just like how much worse she would have felt if she didn't have this vaccine. So so
I couldn't imagine. That one night was so bad. I honestly I was like, I probably should have gone to the emergency room just for precautions, if I'm being honest. But if I didn't have like the vaccine and boosted, Auntie Henny probably wouldn't be here right now, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, wild. It was not cute boots at all whatsoever. And now I'm going through it again. So it's like, so she got her halls over here, girl. She got the bakes halls. She got the bakes cough drops, and she got an orange juice over here. So
oh, that's right.
She's gonna try not to cough all over y'all throughout this, but just a heads up.
Yeah. Well, feel better, boo. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
There she goes. See, look.
Yeah. Like, other than that, how was like, I guess the last 3 weeks or so that like we haven't been together on the podcast? Like the holidays went well. New Year's you were COVID, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I started my job at Amazon. It was great.
Yes.
You know, it's been going good. I literally worked 5 business days, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we have the next 2 weeks off." So
it's like, oh, cool.
Any time off too? They were like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, okay.
There we go."
All right. And they were like, "Don't work while you're on PTO too." I said, Nick, say less. Gotta tell me any of this,
right?
Okay.
Look,
so I don't even go back to work.
The universe had a way of clearing your path because she knew you was about to come. She said, let's make sure she got some good health insurance. Let's make sure she got some coins hitting that bank account because the bitch gonna be laid out for a couple of weeks.
That's so true. Mother Nature, no.
Right.
Mother Universe, no.
He about to get that ass beat. Hold on, I think it's a comfortable beating.
She's like, oh, he got money.
Right.
Oh, he got money. And then she's like,
no.
Right.
You need to watch this on YouTube. And by the way, subscribe, hit the bell button, all that good stuff. Thank you. Oh man, Dawon, how was your holiday and New Year's and all that stuff? Mother Nature got you right back. Damn.
Not me, honey. Ain't no Rona over here. No, ma'am.
Lord.
She's been resistant. quite resistant. The last couple of weeks have been it's been great because I spent a lot of time just like recharging, which is really good. But I missed y'all. I did. I sent Kerel like a little lovey text the other day. It was just like, I can't wait till Wednesday so we can record together.
I don't. It's always interesting when we take the time off because like you get in such like a cadence and like it's just like you just know what your week looks like. So not to have it in a way, I was like, oh, it was nice to relax. But then I was telling Jerrell before we hopped on, it wasn't as relaxing of a few weeks off that I needed, but it is what it is. And I'll share all this a little later. I don't know how much I'm gonna put out there yet, but yeah, like it's just like you almost need this every week, like solely for yourselves. Like it's like we're glad the community is listening and all that and building the community, but there's also just some just be talking to your Judies and be like catching up on shit that like you won't talk about.
It's almost like what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like when you just, like when summer's supposed to start after school and you like, oh, I can't wait for summer break. Yeah. All of a sudden you're like, I miss my friends.
Right. It's like, I miss my friends.
I'm bored in the house.
Right.
Like, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, literally.
That's literally what it felt like. I was like, damn.
And of course, so much stuff like happened while we were gone. So I was like, damn. Like literally, we're like, okay, we'll pre-record and we'll get this out there. And then all kinds of stuff went down. So we're not going to have an Ask Your Aunties question this week because we just got a lot of shit to get through to talk about. So we're going to have like a little, almost like, I don't know, like a quick little speed round. Yeah. But I don't know. I didn't have no teaism for it. So it was just a hot tea speed round. So here we go. Literally, the last time we recorded, like I think it was like the next day or two, Jussie was found guilty. And I was like,
2 years. 2 years, almost to the day, our first episode.
Literally.
Then we started reporting about him.
Literally.
He got found guilty, like 5 out of the 6 counts. So what did you think when you saw that come across?
Of course he met in steamies. I was like, well, goddamn.
Right. It's like, don't we all go to steamy shit? We should have known.
And some of us still got our card.
Honey, that's a true statement. I know, I said that too. I didn't send it to Dawon. I sent it to like Issa and Jerrell and them. So, oh God, that means I got to tell my team. So we've been spring cleaning, winter cleaning the house and things like that. And like, there's a box that I literally have carried since Chicago that like when I was in Dallas, lived in the garage here. And finally I was like, let me just go through all this shit. Because both times I had to kind of like pack quick and just throw stuff in. So I didn't really have the time to like clean or like purge beforehand. So now that I have a little time to purge, I'm like, let me purge some shit. So going through this like old little like jewelry drawer thing that I had, and it had like some old like debit cards and bullshit in there. But then I pull out, I'm like, what's this? I was like, oh, it was an old Steamworks entrance card. And I was like, ooh, look what I done found.
For y'all who don't know what it looks like, it looks a little something like this. If you don't know what it looks like, look.
It's got the little SW and little waves on it. And I was like, I had forgotten even what the card looked like. But the second I pulled it, I was like, oh, yep, that's Steamworks card. So for those that know, it's a gay bathhouse in Chicago. So she used to be young and fun back in the day.
Confession.
I guess I'll go.
I've never been to Steamies.
Really?
Confession, yeah. Never been.
You know what? These are my confessions.
Never been.
You know what? It's a good time. And it's nicer than you would think.
All you gotta do is just look across the street and see that line.
That line. Like, honey, that's no lie. Literally, any big weekend, it's a fucking line to get into the bathhouse.
Here's the thing that I love about that line, though, is there is zero shame in that line.
Zero.
I'll tell you, that's a line when people they just own it. They be like,
and
it's
what?
Dick 30. What? See me.
Literally.
I see you soon.
Right. Or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if it was you or not, but hey.
You could always tell those who were going to, because they always wait like, oh, the bar's closed in about 30 minutes. All right, let's go hop in the line now.
Yep.
So that way we don't gotta wait forever.
Here's the funny thing. Like, it's always more shame almost kind of coming out of it than going in. Like, you could be in the line and see your homeboy walking by, be like, hey girl, yep, I'll see you later. But it's when you come out, you're like, damn. And it might be like light time, like daylight now. You coming like try to sneak out that exit and just scurry down the street.
I done seen a couple sunrises. I ain't gonna lie.
I seen some sunrises and some other kind of rises too, girl. Woo! Jesus, but yeah. So I still had that Steamworks card in that box. That was cool. But how did we get on that? I forget now.
Jussie.
Oh, Jussie. So yeah. So when that came out, I was like, damn. And they didn't say the bathhouse name, but everyone that has lived in Chicago or have been there all knew what it was. We're like, damn, he done got caught up in steamies, trying to come up with this elaborate plan. And now the truth be told,
I still just want to know why. Why?
That's the thing that gets me.
I just want to know.
I get that sometimes celebrities and their like PR team or whatever will like concoct these like schemes, to like get people in the press or whatever. But it like this just, it doesn't seem right. And why would these guys go like, if somebody came to you, some celebrity said, I want you to pretend like da 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 da, like hate crime me and da 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 da.
Hate crime me.
I mean, not as booty hole, because that was taken care of in the Steamworks, but
I want you to hate crime.
You to hate crime me in the streets.
Oh Lord!
Like what makes I can understand if Jussie was not right in the head, but how do you bring two other people who would seemingly be sane individuals along that journey? Like, I don't understand it. I just don't understand that at all. Like,
drugs were involved, so like it did come out that drugs were involved. So maybe they just weren't in their right head at the moment. I don't know.
They could have been talking about poppers. I mean,
well, I think they said it was cocaine. I forget what all they said now at this point. I think they said
poppers.
Cocaine, but obviously it was poppers. Social poppers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, and it's still, part of me is still like, I don't know if we just know the full story still. And obviously we've seen justice system do some good things. We've seen justice system do a whole lot of bad things, even when juries are there, things like that. Exactly.
More bad than good. But,
so I don't know if I want to completely believe either side of the situation, but it's just like, I don't feel like we got the full story at all.
And at the end of the day, Chicago, this is what y'all spending y'all time on, chasing after this. Like,
period. You right.
I mean, what I was thinking about when this thing was going down was like, we still talking about this? Y'all still interested in this bullshit? Like, this shit happened like years ago, and literally nobody was hurt. So why? Y'all really gonna spend all this time and energy and waste the court system on this kind of bullshit?
And that's the example you wanted to utilize? Like, there's other examples that need to be made in that city.
So what's the lesson that we're supposed to learn? Don't go to Steamies and try to find a couple of people to do a hate crime on you in the middle of the street and then report it to the police. Is that that the lesson we're supposed to learn from this, Chicago? I mean, because I'm lost.
I'm lost too. Yeah, I'm lost. Well, I guess this might be the last time that we talk about Jussie on this podcast.
There's going to be a documentary that's going to come out.
Right.
There's going to be a documentary like searching for Jussie. And I'll watch. I'm not going to lie.
Steamworks versus Jussie.
I want to see the reenactments.
Right. Yeah. I want to see them Steamworks.
No, they're the sponsor. They're the sponsor of the docuseries.
You're right. You're right.
You're gonna see them hard ass cardboard towels everywhere.
Honey, now that's a no lie statement if I ever heard one. Them small ass towels that like barely covered up anything. They stiff as hell. I just had some flashbacks. I had some honey, but no, honey. Oof. I'll tell them stories another day. Okay, so what else happened? Oh, y'all, did you see the clip that was going around too during the holidays with Kamala versus Charlamagne?
Yes.
Kamala, even though Charlamagne's question was a legit ass question, but Kamala went on auntie mode on him.
When your auntie is done, she be like, look, I'm tired of entertaining your little ass right now. That was that was how she was.
That's like, exactly how it was.
How many times you say Charlamagne? almost as many times as Gail said Robert.
You so right. Yeah, like, and obviously I didn't end up watching the whole.
Hold on for 1 second. Explain for the people who didn't see the clip what happened.
So the clip and I didn't watch the whole episode, so I don't know what led into it and what happened after it. All I saw was the clip. But Charlamagne was asking Kamala if Joe Biden was president or Joe, what's his name, Joe Manson, whoever his name, from West Virginia. And Kamala was like, Charlamagne. Come on, you know who president. You know who is Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris, who is me, is vice president. So stop. It's like, she's like, unless you want to be one of them Republicans, acting like them Republicans. So she got them all the way together. But the root of his question, obviously, Charlamagne has a way of kind of, like, you know, he knows entertainment. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the root of his question is a valid question, because Joe Manchin from West Virginia literally has a shit ton of power right now, and he knows it. And it's bullshit, quite frankly. And even though we have this 50-50 split, he's in a state that is probably 50-50 Republican and Democrat, and he's just doing whatever he wants to fucking do to probably help his future, hopefully, in his mind, politically. So I was with Charlamagne. I was like, these questions need to be asked, because as a community, we're all feeling right now that you might not be living up to what you was telling us in the campaign trail. And there's a lot of shit you still need to get done before, now that we're in 2022, another midterm election year where there's so much on the table at stake.
Mm-hmm. I will say this though, like, but you still can't blame them, because the truth of the fact is they've been putting these things out here to try to push some things down. But people like fucking Joe Manchin are like the ones who are stopping it. And Joe Manchin is a Democrat on top of that.
Supposedly.
You know? But I mean, they didn't reframed it from being, what was it, like $3 trillion to now like all the way down to $1 or $2.1 trillion or some shit like that.
Something like that, yeah.
They didn't cut funding from different other programs and stuff like that too.
And they're refunding the police.
Yeah, you know, like there's just all this other shit that they've done to try to make this happen. And again, like we said before, they need to just stop playing their game and just start steamrolling these bitches over. Like they were not working with us like this when Oh Boy was in the house. They weren't giving two fucks about how we felt.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's been the biggest, in my opinion, that's been one of the biggest criticisms for the Democratic Party, is that the Democratic Party is the only party that is trying to reach across the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
And I get in some kind of altruistic world or whatever that's that's an optimal thing to do. But the reality of it is that if you are a political party because you have a political agenda, and you can't get your political agenda accomplished, with people that don't want to fuck with you, period.
Yeah.
The Republicans don't give a damn about these social programs and all this other kind of bullshit. Like, why keep pretending like, oh, well, if I continue to reach across the aisle, it'll show that all it shows is that you are willing to put lives on the line so that you could do some kind of like political like kumbaya moment, which isn't going to do anything, you know, because at the end of the day, the time runs out and the guard changes, and then we back to square one, running up the debt again, you know, like screaming Black Lives Matter again.
I ain't got shit else to say. Y'all nailed it.
I do feel though, like getting back to your earlier question about Charlamagne asking the question, like that was very inflammatory the way that he asked it, because you need to put some respect on Joe's name. Like, come on,
and Kamala,
you know, but it was a shady thing to ask Kamala though.
Yeah.
It was a shady thing to ask her specifically. You can ask a pundit, you can ask anybody else, but like, you know, I think that's one of the reasons why she said, okay, let me take my earrings off for just 1 second and show you who Kamala Harris really is. You know, I ain't on the campaign trail anymore.
Honey.
You know, Charlamagne.
We've all done heard that tone before, like for some Black woman in our lives. So we all knew what time it was. The second that first word came out, the first Charlamagne, we was like, oh.
And look, her whole energy, like her whole body position changed. She sat in her chair.
Like, we all know that look. We all know. That's why it went viral.
But you know what?
It went viral probably more for that moment than Charlamagne's question.
Right. Right. How she reacted. But you know what? I'm also kind of glad that situation happened, because what that showed is that let these Republicans keep fucking around and something end up happening, Joe, because that's the woman you're going to get.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they got to see that.
Well, they
like not little nice.
Well, they're asking him, Joe Biden, the questions because someone asked him a week ago, like, "Are you going to run for a second election, for a second term?" And they were like, "You said during your first, your first campaign, or whatever, that you promised the people that you would run for 2 terms." And now he was saying stuff like, "Well, you know, if time doesn't allow for me to, then I won't run." So people asking those questions already.
Oh, absolutely. Because if not him, then who becomes the question?
Oh God!
And they need to start asking that question now.
Yes, absolutely now. I can't. Oh, my spirit can't take it right now, Lord. Oh God! But then also we saw that Kim Potter was found guilty for the killing of what's his first
Dante Wright.
Dante. I wanted to say Delonte. Dante Wright. So again, we saw another high-profile case kind of come on the side of justice a little bit. Obviously, we don't know the sentencing and things like that. But
she thought she was going to get a Kyle Rittenhouse.
She sure did.
You know, she started crying them crocodile tears when nothing was coming out, and her face was all scrunched up and whatnot. She's like, "Yeah, this, I'm gonna clinch it. I'm gonna take the stand, and I'm gonna just let all my feelings out or whatever."
Nope.
He said, "You going to jail."
And that judge was actually a good judge, because even throughout the trial, there were moments where you could see folks are trying to like do a Kyle Rittenhouse, and he was like, no, we're not doing that today. And so that's what we need, and that's what we just need throughout the system, quite frankly, is judges that are going to be stand-up human beings, allies to the whole system, and not just the white part of the system. So that was another good feeling, at least good moment to close out the year last year, of seeing justice served. And hopefully, even though it's sad to say we already know the habitual nature of a lot of it, hopefully just gives people, specifically cops, a moment of pause, knowing, hey, before I escalate this situation, let me calm my ass down, because they're not letting me loose anymore. They're not letting them all go anymore. So that's the hope and prayer.
Well,
at least.
That was three in 1 year.
It was 2, because we don't know the Arbery. Oh wait, did they conclude the Arbery at the same time? I forget now. Shit,
yeah, wasn't the Arbery just before, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So it was 3. You're right. So yep. And so
I don't even know
if we talked about Arbery either. Yeah. So that's 3. We'll take 3 out of 4. That's a good 75. 75% there. But Still got a long way to go, but it's just good to see that nowadays with these high profile, just like video cameras and cameras everywhere, is starting to get justice for where justice needs to be served. So,
yeah.
What's another hot take? Betty White, rest in peace, Betty. Yeah. Like 2021 said, no, bitch, we got one more at the last second.
Let me tell you, she's a Capricorn too. That hurt even extra hard. I was like, damn.
And they were talking about like celebrating like her 100th like birthday. Yeah. They had all this stuff coming up. I was like,
yeah, like didn't like People magazine, like they were gonna release something. Like there was a magazine that was about to do like something too for her, and it was just it was crazy.
So everybody
they'll
was
still do a celebration of
Betty.
life. You know, they'll still turn it around. You know, to celebrate her. But she said, I'm done. She said, wait, y'all got an Omicron? No,
right. She said, "Oh, y'all got flu Rona and a new variant in France coming." Nope, I'm done.
Right, exactly.
Tap out. I'm good.
Too much.
Let me make sure all my pets and my animals are taken care of. You know, make sure that all that shit's done. Okay, bye.
But you know, I gotta say, I genuinely loved me some Betty White though. Like, you know, she was the white auntie. She was the white auntie.
She was one of a kind.
She was,
You know,
she lost out. Oh, sorry, Boo. Go
ahead. No, you go, baby.
She lost out on a TV show that she had back in the like late 60s
or something.
Yeah, because she had on a black guest and it was integrated, and they said, no, we're not gonna do it. Yeah. So, I mean, she's been a trailblazer from like day one, down for the people, not down for the bullshit, and
funny as hell.
Definitely broke the mold.
Like her comedic timing is like perfect.
So, she was, and I love this. You know, she just lived. Like, she also kind of helped change like that stigma of like older people having to be like this kind of like they just go off to this like little place and they just become quiet. They're not expressive. They're not living. Like, she was really one of those older people who you just got to see still cussing, still being raunchy and nasty, acting. You know, living her best life. You know, just. I love her. I love her. So
it's never too late to continue to do shit. You know, that's what she showed. Like I mean, she had that Hot in Cleveland show, and she was like in her 90s, so still acting.
And that show was.
I never really watched it, but I did seen the clips popping up. I'm like, okay, this is funny.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah.
So she's forever invited to the barbecue. Ooh, invited everyone. I mean, that's how you show, right? I hope that dude is getting some coins, right? Because that song is a bop.
I wonder if they'll bring him out for like for her little memorial, not her little, but like her. You know, I know I caught myself. I didn't mean to like say little, but you know, like
right, her little memorial.
Bring him out for,
and sing his little rendition.
I didn't mean that. That's definitely Black culture 101. When you low key want to shade somebody, but you don't want to call them out their mouth, you say little with your little job,
right? Sing your little rendition of that song.
Right. Now, white people, don't y'all be out there appropriating that.
Oh,
that's Black stuff.
I know, they'll be like singing your little small little song, your little tiny song.
Right. They messed it all up.
Looking like a little tiny house. Oh man, but no, that would be dope if he came out. But it's just cool to show how, like, if you live right and the impact that you can have on the world. Because literally here, even in Atlanta, like billboards are saying "Rest in Peace, Betty." Yeah. You know, it's just like that's an impact on life. Like that's dope. You know. So, what else? Oh, another kind of thing that was going viral on IG over the holidays was the Britney Spears meme singing.
Oh my God.
I watched two and I said I can't. I said
they had her singing all kinds of songs.
I was like, you know what? You can tell she been locked up. She sound like a free nigga. But
I'm done.
I'm glad you said it because that's always something I would say.
I'm so done.
Cause she, like, you can tell, like, no reins, no reins. She like, I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. I don't have to answer to nobody. I ain't got to go to court no more or whatever. I got all this free time to do da 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 da.
She was for real.
I'm so done. She thought she was singing too that day. She's like, I'm gonna post this shit, show these bitches I can sing. They put her to Mary. They don't put her to like Mary J. Blige. They don't put her to like everything. I'm like, the internet has no chill. The internet knows no chill.
None whatsoever.
But that was probably my favorite meme of the year, and it came at the very end. That, like, the Bernie at the beginning and the Britney at the end was my shit last year. Oh my god! And then now the one we're gonna get this year is Tami from Real World.
Baby,
let me tell you, when she said,
she said, "Cause you Latina." That's my answer to everything this year. Kerel, why weren't you on time? Cause you Latina. Wash your hands, wash your legs, wash your ass, cause you Latina. That shit took me out. She said, "You don't say it neither, cause you Latina."
I was sitting there watching because we've been watching all of the Real World stuff, and we just watched this week's episode, and with the aftermath of that. So it's
I need to catch up on it.
So memeable, like so memeable.
God.
But it really. I really felt bad for Tami because you could tell she was a black woman in a room of people who don't have the comprehension to understand the conversation that she is trying to have with them right now. Like, you don't say that word. I don't care if you describe what somebody else say. You don't say that word.
Don't you understand the meaning of friendship? I said, what the fuck does that have?
And then she's like, do you not understand that as a black woman, you should not be saying that word out of your fucking mouth?
And then the Latina got up.
No, wait. And then,
she said, you don't know how it feels to be a nigger. I was like, what?
And she said, you shut the...
I can't. And then the dad at the end was like, you know who's waiting at home for me? I got some black colored kids. And what she's like, I hope, and look, with the cigarette, I hope you don't kill them now too.
She was getting look, she was either she was ready for or the universe was trying to throw everything they could at Tami at that moment because she was getting it from everybody.
I know Tammy's probably thinking, I know these motherfuckers trying to like punk me to see if I'm a brand new person or not. If I'm gonna be Tami from '93, Tami from Basketball Wives, or a newfound Tami with the Bonnet Chronicles. But y'all on some bullshit today.
They legit were legit on some bullshit. I couldn't understand it. I literally couldn't understand how in 2022, with all the shit that's been going on, you just don't get it.
I said, Tami, you need something stronger than that cigarette, sis.
Honey.
I was like, that cigarette ain't enough.
But she did say at one point, she was like, I can't.
I can't.
And meanwhile, she was half in and half out the apartment the entire time.
But it makes you realize Tammy's a fucking star. Tami is as crazy as she could be. Tammy's a star. Because this bitch done been around for 30 years.
She has. Yeah. Making memorable television.
Period.
Memorable.
Period. So don't sleep on Tami. Oh my god! But no, I wasn't gonna watch this season because the New York one, I was like, oh my god, like y'all too grown to be having these same conversations.
Watch.
And then, but this one, I'm like, y'all still too grown to be having these conversations. But now it's memeable. I'm like, oh, this shit's funny.
These are kind of, so we've been watching this whole season, and like these are kind of conversations you want to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's funny with the first season, even though there's like nostalgia with all those, those people, whatever.
Yeah.
None of them really kind of like made it big. And obviously Tami is not like an A-list celebrity, but she rolls with that crowd.
Yeah.
She's been relevant. Let's put it this way. She's been relevant.
Even though Evelyn says she's a non-motherfucking factor.
Right.
She's been relevant.
She was. She's still catching them coins. So
period.
Like, so it's a very different thing to watch through that lens of somebody who has been able to make something out of themselves in their chosen career, being in entertainment, and then come back and then be surrounded by people who basically kind of left the spotlight for good, bad, or indifferent, whether it was their choice or not, David. And then interact. Because that is a whole, like like if you listen to the conversations that she's having beyond the clips, this is the amalgamation of, that's another one, y'all. It's
she's starting to work. Yes, come on. Starting the year nice.
But that is the amalgamation of all of her experiences, not only in life, but also being in the public eye, because all the media training, all the stuff that comes along with it. So it's really interesting to watch the dynamics, because the big thing with that whole season was, the whole thing between David and Tami 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And David getting kicked off. Yep. And a lot of assumptions that we all made about that situation and how it impacted people.
Yeah.
So if there was one to watch, I would say this one is the one to watch.
Yeah.
And if they make another one about the one in Seattle where what's-his-face smacked old girl in the face and threw her teddy bear out.
Stephen and Irene.
I would want to see that too.
Same here.
I would want to see that.
And I want to see Vegas, the first Vegas.
She said, you and I can never be boyfriend and girlfriend. And he goes, why is that? And she goes, because you're gay.
You're or no, she's like, because you're homosexual.
Because you're homosexual.
And he tapped out that car. He said, with that ring on. Oh, she opened that door. Said, yeah, I want to see that one too. You right.
No, you're not gay. I want to see that reunion.
Same.
Meanwhile, he was in Steamies next to Jussie.
Jussie, right? You, honey. I know, and he disappeared too. Yeah, you're right. I want to see that. I want to see that in the first Vegas season. I want to see them back too. That was my season. But that's like the first Vegas season, and I know we're talking about the real world now, was like the first season where they started to get people that was just pretty. Like, before it was like at least a nice mix of just like people, everyday people. Vegas seasons just started, it was just all about let me have the hot bodies and all that stuff. Yeah. And you're just like, ooh, but that was
Did I ever tell y'all about the time I almost made it onto the real world?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I made it to the final rounds of Real World New Orleans.
Shut up.
Yeah, they came out.
Really?
They came out in 2009. Yeah, fall 2009. Yeah, I literally made it to the final rounds. Yeah, man, with producers and everything.
And how was it?
What did they ask you to do?
Well, first of all, like the whole interview process was interesting because I didn't even intend on doing it. My bestie, Zidane, and Spencer were trying out for it. And it was at this bar called Sneaky Pete's in Minneapolis. And they were like, let's just go do it. And I was like, all right, cool. And so they had like 8 of us at a table. Then they ask you some questions and you give your answers or whatever. And then they you think you're interesting. You do this what is it, almost like a 50-page questionnaire or like 150 questions or some shit like that. It's a long, bitch. I was getting carpet tunnel. Like it asks you everything, like your parents, then your parents' parents, and then like alcoholisms and like drug addictions and like if there's any family drama. They look for like people who have been through some shit. And of course, I've come through some things. So then they were like, all right, cool. Well, we need you to make like this reel. So I made my reel, and it just kind of. This is my life in Minneapolis. And then they're like, all right, well, we want you to go down to Chicago in 2 weeks and we're going to do a little camera test with you there. And so they did the camera test with me in Chicago. That was April. Then I did a camera test in LA that May. And that was like the last round. And I didn't get it. But
that's
crazy.
That's funny.
I'm low-key glad. Back then, at 21, my ass would have ate that shit up. But knowing what I know now, I'm like, ooh, girl. I can imagine. No. Yeah.
And your aunties didn't have the bail money for you back then.
I did.
Nobody had the bail money.
Would have been on your own, honey.
That's funny you say. Like I've had two experiences with the real world. When I was on spring break, my senior year in college. Like I'm pretty similar, like especially like when I'm at the bar, like once that music start hitting, you know how I get. I'm singing and dancing and trying to hype everyone up. And so my roommate Ike, at the time, you met Ike at my wedding, Dawon, the big black roommate I had, and so like it was he and I, my other roommate, and another friend of ours. But when Ike and I get together sometimes too, we just be hyping each other up. So we're at this club. It was the first night of spring break. We're like, let's turn out, let's party. And everybody was just kind of like sitting there. And we're like, fuck this, we getting on the dance floor. And it was that Busta Rhymes, touch it, bring it, bear. And we're like, oh shit. We're like, get low, Ike. And we were just out there. And so the next thing I know, I get a tap on my shoulder. I look back, I'm like, yeah. And it was this guy. He's like, hey, you want to party with us? You guys are the only ones having fun up here. And it was the real crew for spring break. And so they were filming all their spring break shit for MTV and all that. So literally the entire week, we got to go where they went with VIP and everything because we were the fun ones, quote unquote, in their eyes. And I think one of them, Shane, I don't know if you remember Shane, he was the gay one. I think he had a crush on Ike. So I think that might be the true reason why. Because he wanted to get smashed by Ike. But literally, like, I think.
But did it happen, though?
It did not. Oh, not that I know of.
Did it happen, though?
Not that I know of, at least. Like, I mean, Ike and I shared a room, but I didn't see Shane, and I didn't sneak out nowhere, I don't think. But, yeah, to each his own. But, like, there's pictures, like, on my Facebook and everything from back then, from that. And then another time, a friend's bachelor party, and they were filming the second season of the Vegas Real World. And again, Kerel just being Kerel, music getting the hit, and I'm getting lit out in the pool party, get the people partying again in the pool, and again, get a tap on my shoulder. They're like, sir, can you sign this disclosure? They were filming the real world, and I didn't realize it. And so they had us all on the camera, and the people I was partying with out in the pool were the real world cast. So I had to like sign a disclosure because I was going to be on camera. And so the season came out and there was a scene, you see them at the pool, and here's my dumb ass out there partying in the pool. I'm like, dear Jesus. And it's the same thing today. Get me to the club and that music started hitting. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Oh, man. Oh, that would have been dope to see Jerrell on The Real World. Like, girl.
I didn't see all that. No, I was punking niggas at the ATM talking about cash only and
girl.
Fighting bitches that try to run me over with cars and beating bitches in gay bar bathrooms and
it would have been good TV though.
No, that was. She would have made it like 3 days to the first weekend, and she would have got arrested when it would have come back.
And would have been replaced.
That would have been
replaced. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. It's like, damn. Remember that Jerrell cast member? Whatever happened to him? They got kicked out last season.
Literally.
Oh man. And so then another announcement came out over break. RuPaul Drag Race this season has its first cis man doing drag on the show. Yeah. Which is an interesting thing. Like, I don't think I'm trying to think if all the drag shows I've seen, like in person, if I heard it was a straight man doing it. Like, have you heard of it, a straight dude doing drag?
I mean, I've heard of it, and historically, there have been a number of straight men who've been female impersonators, which evolved into the form of drag that identified as that were cisgendered straight men who just happened to, like the art form of either female impersonation or, of drag. But I do love that that there is this sense of diversity of personal and artistic expression through the art form of drag that is not like so binary and focused on just gay men. All I hope is because gay men love the drama. Most times you're not watching RuPaul Drag Race for like the fashion show at the end or even the lip sync, because like the lip sync is it could be all right, but like you watch it to see who on Clash. That's what you watch. So I'll be curious to see, you know, how this shakes out.
Yeah.
Well, apparently I'll watch it for the wrong reasons, apparently, because I literally only watch it for the end. I just like to see the fashion, the artistry of it. I don't care for the drama.
Yeah.
I'm enough already. I don't need it for my TV. So I like so my TV don't be as extra as I am most of the time. I watch a lot of boring shit. If I'm being honest.
She be watching Bob Ross all day.
Girl,
Made a little pretty flower, a little pretty tree.
I do. I have to watch shit that's just like more sci-fi stuff that's just like really unrealistic. But you know, I guess look, I mean, if straight men can get their booty button pushed and still be straight, I mean, they can do drag too. So
okay. All right.
Where's the line these days? There's no line. It doesn't exist anymore. So
I'm glad they're comfortable. Like whoever, like I mean, that's a lot to be put because he's going to be the first, at least for this like series. So the scrutiny that I'm sure he's going to become under, and the questioning of his sexuality and things like that, he's probably going to be placed under. It's going to be a lot. So hopefully he could take it. But at the end of the day, I hope he does.
He'll learn.
You're right. But I just hope he does the art form justice. That's all I care about. It's like, because it started in our community. So it's just like, if you're going to like branch out, which I'm wholeheartedly here for, you better do it good. You better do it justice, you know?
Yeah, I mean, because we
only...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, boo. No, you go.
I was going to say, I mean, Kerel, when we did the drag bunch and Dallas, you know, that was a cis straight woman who, you know, who was performing as well too. And she ate. She did it. Woo. So she did what needed to be done. Okay?
Absolutely.
And as long as, you know, he as well, you know, is if it's as long as it's not one of those things where he was obviously picked for like the show or like picked to kind of get the headlines of being the first or whatever, and he actually can perform drag, you know, I'm good. But if he's there just as another gimmick for RuPaul to get some extra coins and some more views,
which might be an Ann situation.
I think that might be more of the case than not. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because I've been watching. I kind of got away from it, but then I got back into it. Now I got the fucking app, so I got all the episodes, and I burned through all of them over the holiday. I was like, I could just watch RuPaul all damn day.
I know that's right.
But they had a cis gender straight woman on UK who and then they had Sonique back who was who you know is transgender female, male to female, and then they also had Got Mick, who was transgender, who is who was male or female to male, and
Kylie
every single one of those
Sonique,
Kylie Sonique, yep, and with every individual that they brought on, like they favored them. So much so that it's not even a competition. Yeah. So like, do I believe that Sonique should have won All Stars? Hell the fuck no. I really don't. Like she's wonderful, she's talented and whatever, and I'm not taking her accolades away from her. But at the end of the day, and I'm not a judge, so you know it's not my coins, it's not my show or whatever. But like I'm gonna put it out there, she shouldn't have won that because she was not the best. No. And even like, you know, I thought that Got Mick was interesting, and I think that she was talented, but should she have been top 3? No, I don't think so.
I thought she was top 3.
No, I don't think so. I don't. The way that she performed, now she got there because of her looks for the most part. There was like 1 or 2 challenges that she did pretty well in. The Snatch Game challenge.
Snatch Game,
she played.
Yeah, she killed it in the Snatch Game.
Right, but like all the other kind of things were just.
Yeah.
In my opinion, she shouldn't have been in the top 3.
Yeah.
I'm not RuPaul. I don't make the rules or whatever. But I think the thing that I'm trying to say is I hope that this person, I don't know which person it's going to be. We'll find out Friday. So by the time this airs on Monday, we'll know. But I just hope that when they shoot the season, and it's already done by now, that this person gets a fair shot. Because if this person makes it to the finale, then what that signals to me is that this is a bunch of tokenism bullshit.
And she's overcompensating for her previous season when she was kind of problematic with not letting trans community be on the show and things like that. So I think it's an and situation. I think she's overcompensating, and I'm hoping I feel that like she realizes, okay, I need to adjust what I thought my view of drag was. So I think it's a little bit both. But I agree. Like every season where they kind of add additional people in the drag community, you could tell that at least you've been doing drag
for 2 years,
coddles them
3
a little
years,
bit,
or whatever. And exactly. Question for y'all. Not necessarily related to Drag Race, but it's tangential, right? So that's 2.
You giving us all the words today. Coming on, girl.
She didn't take an edible, so they just come. They're just flowing. Do you believe in affirmative action today?
Yes.
Do you believe that affirmative action has a place and a role today?
Yes, because all the rules were still created in a time period where it wasn't for people that look like us.
Yeah.
And until they rewrite all the rules, especially the ones that started in like the 17 and 1800s, that are still on the books that they still utilize to justify shit. Mm-hmm. Hey, it is what it is, boo. Because the play, and I don't even know when the playing field is going to be even. I don't know if that's even possible in our country, quite frankly.
Because it's rooted literally in the country is rooted in. I mean, like even from the Constitution. So I mean, I don't know. I agree with you, Kerel.
What do you think?
Where did that question come from?
First of all, RuPaul's Drag Race, so like, and being black, that's where it comes from.
I wasn't sure if the HR cap was on. That's how.
No. Well, I have, from an HR perspective, I have been thinking a lot about this because I work in diversity and inclusion and and I've been thinking a lot about this notion of affirmative action and in some way tokenism, because it shows up in different ways. It's not just about the affirmative action is really the legal precipice for ensuring that companies and corporations are not excluding Black people, specifically Black people, right, from opportunity and forcing integration. And I think there's definitely a time and a place for that to happen. There are other measures that are happening legally that's providing that kind of pressure, especially a lot of the groundswelling of public interest in companies, especially those that are publicly traded, to be transparent about their diversity numbers. And so that's forcing a lot of companies, regardless of affirmative action, because you don't really hear about it as much. I don't really hear about affirmative action
as different terminologies now.
Right. But then I'm putting my hat on okay, well, how would I feel if, going back to RuPaul's Drag Race, I was the token this? Yeah. So the cisgender straight man who does drag, and I'm brought on the show, do you feel a type of way?
Nope. Guess why I'm gonna go here and kill this shit nonetheless. Whether I got on the show or didn't get on the show, or got the job, didn't get the job, or whatever the situation is, my job is to be ready. Regardless, whatever, even if it is something where I might be the token and RuPaul's feeling a little sorry for me. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what, ho? I'm gonna really show you what I have.
Or obligated.
Right, exactly. So
that's where it comes from.
That part doesn't really bother me one way, because it's hard to prove that's the case, A. And so that's almost like something that you might put on yourself and overanalyze and start. I overanalyze it as it is, so I don't need to add nothing to the plate.
That's one of the reasons why I was asking the question.
Nope, my role is to be ready whenever the opportunity comes about. And how I got picked, I don't really care, quite frankly, for myself.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think, kind of to what Kerel saying, I don't think he should be, he would be doing drag or even putting himself out there to be casted if he wasn't ready, if that makes sense. Like, because you are going to be the first, and especially nowadays when you are like the first to do something, like it is well known that you were the first. And that's going to be something that's going to follow you for the rest of your life, no matter what you do. And how things are marketed today when it comes to kind of like that tokenism of being the first or something compared to back then, like it's hard to avoid. You can't hide nowhere. Like this is it. He's forever going to be known as the first person to be the cis straight man on RuPaul's Drag Race. It's going to follow him, even if he decides not to do drag after this. Gonna be with him forever. Mm-hmm. And all the questions about his sexuality and all the rest of that stuff is gonna forever. He's gonna be opening that door, and it will never be able to be closed. So you have to be ready. And so if you're going to put yourself out there, and again, kind of like the real world thing, I'm glad I didn't make it because I was honestly not ready. Knowing what I know now, like I was not in a place to be in a public eye. Yeah, you have to know yourself because. You don't get no more privacy. You don't get to just have a second to yourself. You become not only the first to do this and people asking these questions, but now people are going to look to you as an example, both good, bad, or indifferent, you know? And everything in your day-to-day is going to change too. So it's just... I don't know.
And it's funny you say that because, like, I've had that question asked to me, like, especially growing up in a predominantly white area and getting, like, full ride scholarships. I've had folks question, oh, you probably just got it because you're a black guy going to a predominantly white university and things like that. Even if it's the case, my grades and my accolades at that point stacked up against everyone that you're saying. And so, okay, say I got it because of affirmative action. I still had to prove myself and continue the grades in college and things like that. You know, like they will they will snatch that money back real quick. So like shit like that, like I've heard it before, and I mean, when I was younger, it might have bothered me a little more than now. Now I'm like, it is what it is. Say what you want, but I know what I bring to the situation. I know what I have to do. I know the work that I'm fucking doing. I don't see you doing no work. I don't see you out here in the library like the same time I'm in the library. I don't see you so that shit, I'm like, that's showing me your insecurity in yourself, that you don't believe in yourself because you looking for any justification that you are slacking. You know? So like, I'm like, boo boo, whatever. But again, the rules aren't equal still to this day. The rules are based on unequal terms. And until we take that shit away and rewrite it today, and even today, so probably wouldn't be on equal terms, but at least be a little more equal than it was 300 years ago, 400 years ago. Fuck it. Be on your feelings about affirmative action, who's ever against it, because it's still not fair. We see it in the data points. Yeah. We see it in the day-to-day. So, this last topic, we saved it for last on purpose because we've had people ask already, have we watched it? So, Dawon and I forget what episode it was. Whenever the first trailer came out, we're like standing for the Matrix. We spent like a whole damn episode, and Jerrell was looking at us like, "What the fuck?" So the latest Matrix movie came out over the holidays, and Jerrell already sent us a text message asking about what we thought. We were like, "No, we're gonna talk about it on the podcast." So I don't know what Dawon felt. I don't know what Jerrell felt. They don't know what I felt. Who should we get out the way first? Should we get Jerrell out the way first?
You gotta go first because she's not gonna say much.
I want to go first. Let me tell you, when I got done watching that movie, I felt like the Grinch. You know when you get that big ass evil smile, my little curl up top.
You thought of me and Dawon first?
Yeah, I sure did. I said,
shut up.
I was like, Christmas is spoiled. Let me tell y'all, all the emotions from that episode came rushing back. I said, won't he do it? No, I'm kidding.
I'm so mad at you because I watched it with my brother, my dad, and my sister. And the second the credits went, my brother goes, that was a horrible movie. And he looked at me too. He's like, you like that, Kerel? I was like, dang. So my verdict is.
Did you watch it at home or did you watch it at
I watched it at home because like it was like obviously Omarion was out here crazy, and so I was home.
I saw your IG because I saw that you.
Yeah. So
I saw it, but
watched it at my parents' house. So it was like me, my brother, and my dad, my sister. My mom couldn't care less about Matrix and movies and shit. Like it's so tough because like my expectations were probably too high for it, quite frankly. It just didn't. It just. And I like the 25-year-old, the 25 years ago, Kerel is so sad inside because it just wasn't the best movie on earth. It just didn't have a reason for being.
It didn't. They. I'm telling you, they reached to the far end of the galaxy to try to pluck this out of somewhere and to make it into something. It was so forced. And then just like how they tried to flash back to things in the past and no. And I honestly, for the whole movie, I could not get over the Morpheus part. I just could not get, I was just like, this part alone, I was like, for Black culture, I was just mad. I was just mad for our people. I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
Wait, mad for our people because of Morpheus?
Well, Yaya is cute as hell, so Yaya had to come up.
But I'm just saying, what I'm saying, but like, he didn't need to be in there. Like, honestly, it would have been better if the original Morpheus was up in the bitch, honestly. Like, the whole point of his character as Morpheus just didn't do the Morpheus character any justice.
Like I understood all what they were trying to do. I understand like the deep rootedness of it, but I was like, it is like I will say this: I thought the first half of the movie was way better than the second half of the movie. Like the second they got to, and spoiler alert if y'all ain't watched it too late because we late to talk about it. The second they even just kind of got to like Jada Pinkett Smith, I'm like, oh, this is. Y'all just try to fit it all in for nostalgic sake, like, and then now there's two ones. Like you got to have Trinity. You can't have Trinity without Neo and Neo with. It broke my heart. Dawon, what you was thinking, boo?
I watched it in a theater the first time, and I had a lot of the same kind of feelings. I knew that I was going into this with very high, as much as I was like trying to protect myself against those, I had a lot of really high expectations, and I left the theater feeling quite disappointed. And then I stepped away. I watched a bunch of like explainer videos because
See, me and Dawon be doing the same shit.
I also took an edible before I watched it.
Oh, girl. So you forgot I had the movie.
So no, I remembered there were things that I forgot because I watched it again after the whole Christmas holiday and all that stuff, and after I'd seen a couple like explainer videos, because there was subtext that I was missing. Mm-hmm. And when I got home, I watched it by myself, closed the door, turned up all the speakers, and just like watched it by myself with all that additional context. I loved it. I loved it.
Really? Okay.
I loved it. I loved it almost as much as I loved the first movie.
Ooh,
and that's okay. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot because
I need a why.
Because the movie, there's a lot of different layers to this movie. If a person were expecting this particular movie to be a sequel or a continuation of the story, That's not what the movie is supposed to be. I mean, you know, Kerel. I mean, you've watched the explainer videos. You know that there's simulations within simulations within simulations that are happening with this movie, and that's why the people look different. Now, there were some things that I did not like. Why they decided to have Jada Pinkett Smith and try to make her look old with that ugly ass mask on that entire time was beyond me.
We didn't even need to see her in the movie.
Didn't need it at all. I totally agree with that. But the storytelling and the way that they were self-referential in the context of what is reality and the whole purpose of why Neo/Trinity were in this particular simulation. I mean, without going into a whole lot of details, like now that I have a deeper understanding of what that is, and the fact that this movie was also a reflection of the Hollywood cycle, like a reflection of like the churn and burn
movies,
right? The churn and burn that we all are falling for, or whatever. So like, when I sit through and watched it with that as context, it helped me to really appreciate exactly how that was being translated through the format of the movie, which to me was really what I love the entertainment of the first Matrix. I loved all the, the bullet time and all this stuff, just like everybody else. But I think the thing that I was most excited about was this notion of what is reality.
Yeah.
Out of the first one. And they were able to take that same kind of concept with this movie and really challenge you to think like, well, what matrices are you in right now?
Challenge you. That's too much work to make a movie to like a movie. You just can't sit in a damn seat and like the first three movies didn't require all that. The first three movies didn't need all that to like a damn movie. You don't need.
I like the thinking of it.
Go down a rabbit hole for a movie.
No pun intended.
Be good. Like, I mean,
she didn't get it.
But I that's maybe what I did like about the movie is like it made you think again.
It's meta.
Mine was just like there was even outside the thinking part of the first movies, it was so brand new. This one, they tried to do some new stuff that just didn't quite work. I like the scene in the train and the doors and all that stuff. That was cool for an action scene. Mm-hmm. But all Neo did was this the whole movie. I was like, he ain't got no other tricks no more. Like the battery done drained him that much shit. And so I was like, damn.
But this is a whole different simulation.
Absolutely. So like I got it. It just
I'm with you.
I need to watch it again though. I will say I would
highly recommend, and don't let anybody else in the room. Watch it by your damn self. Because people like to talk.
Right.
And even when they're not talking, they be on their phone or they'll like kick your leg and they'll do something that's distracting. Or wait, can you pause it so I can go get something? No. I want to watch this movie. Yeah. So I would recommend for
watching it with an edible. Because I missed something.
No. Here's what I would say, so two things. One, I would say this, if a person has never seen any Matrix movie or whatever, I think you might be able to watch this movie from a fresh lens and maybe get some entertainment out of it. But I think, because what I came away from the movie, like watching it the second time, was this movie can stand on its own.
I guess it can actually
stand on, and the intention was it for it to stand on its
something. Okay, yes, absolutely. It can stand on its own to the trash, not to have a sequel after it. Yes, absolutely.
I know they did set, and spoiler alert, they did set it up to potentially have more in the series and things like that. So, like, I think what I struggle with this is like, did you really need the Matrix to tell, like, and it's almost like Lana, did you need to make this movie to tell Hollywood that you want a big budget movie outside of the Matrix? Like, like you had to make the Matrix again to mock the situation that's in Hollywood right now to get your next movie, yet you're still part of it. So maybe that's her inner consciousness, the reality of saying, I gotta do this, or I really want to do this, or I not do this, but okay, I gotta do this to do this. So it's like I get the all insert. I don't know. I did like I would say I would give it like my brother said it was like a 0 out of 10.
Oh my god!
I would say it was probably like a 5 out of 10 for me right now. Like I need to watch it again. Now that it's been a few weeks to get out my feelings about it, just to kind of accept it for what it is now, because I was going into it like very like I want the fucking Matrix and I want them to blow my panties off like it did the first time.
I think a lot of people went into the Matrix, and this is for me this is the problem with anything that is in a series that's not building on top of like that's not you know, like how Harry Potter is like a series, but it's like they're telling different stories, just a continuation, and it's very well thought out or whatever, as opposed to something that was kind of a one and done that they then turned into, you know, like for me, I'm always a diehard Matrix 1 original fan.
Yeah.
The other two was, they were all right. They were entertaining, but nothing was like the first. Right. So, like, I feel like a lot of people went into the movie, myself included, went into this movie with an expectation of this has to be dope or it better be dope. Kind of like one of those two camps, right? Yeah. You know, like if you're not into the Matrix, you're like, this better be dope because everybody's talking about da 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 da, and then you get into this wasn't shit, you know, or you know, or the other way. So like. But I feel like if you're able to watch it, and that's why I kind of needed to separate myself from the first time I saw it in a theater. Yeah. When I watched it at home, and just to be able to take it in for what it is, I got so much more enjoyment out of it as its own singular movie. Yeah. Would I rate this a 10 out of 10? No. This would probably, for me, be like a 7 out of a 10. But I would still rate it high because it had really good storytelling.
Did Neil Patrick Harris have to be in there?
Like, I think so.
Yeah. His character for sure.
That particular actor?
The actor. Because I find Neil Patrick Harris for me is almost like a Tom Hanks, a Will Smith, and a Denzel. I see them before their character now. Like they're so them that I didn't see Neil Patrick as the analyst. I saw Neil Patrick Harris as Neil Patrick Harris. And so that kept throwing me. I'm like, and he did a good job. Like he acted the shit out of it. But I was like, but that's Neil Patrick Harris at the end. You know, like it was hard for me to separate. That's why it's hard for me to watch any Tom Hanks. Right, exactly. Any Tom Hanks movie now, I'm like, that's Tom Hanks. Like I don't see a character.
Now that you say that, I can definitely see that. And I don't think that I don't think that he brought anything significantly transformative to that particular character. that made it like that made that character his.
Right. You know, because like the original Agent Smith, you think of Agent Smith. Like, you know, and like, and it was almost hard to see another person play a variation of him, even in this one, because like it's just so singular.
But he did a good ass job though. That fight scene.
Oh yeah. Killed it. And the thing is, like, there were some dope fight scenes. Like, I was like, okay, like they tried to reinvigorate action movies because honestly, every action movie at this point is a Matrix copycat. Like, there's like before the Matrix and post the Matrix, and you just see it in action movies.
Yeah,
they're all trying to copycat the Matrix till this day. So it was cool to see them still like do some little different stuff that we haven't seen before. So I will give them that, but I just I'm gonna have to watch it again.
I will watch it again because I ain't got nothing else to do because she quarantined. So,
and you need to kill like 3 hours.
She might want to give it. I don't need any more Matrix bashing. She's like, I'm gonna force myself to watch this and go through the torture again so I can torture y'all. No. Get out of your feelings first, Capricorn. Maybe you might need to watch this in Leo season. Not in Capricorn season.
No, I will go back to the one thing I agree with you on, that I think it would have been better if it was a standalone. I think that was probably my biggest issue, was that I felt parts of it was still trying to be forced into, you know, what we know of the Matrix from before. And I was genuinely going into it not trying to do that. And I think the movie was trying to force that. And I was not trying to do that on top of it. And I don't think they nailed any, like a lot of the references for the older stuff just did not land. I would have rather it would have just been another trilogy of the Matrix, and it just kind of gone on without trying to connect all that other stuff.
I will send you a video that helps to explain some of the whys behind, because the reason why there were so similarities, just to like truncate it, like the reason there were so many similarities is because, and there was a point in the movie right before Neo took the pill when the Morpheus of this particular movie was explaining to him that that reality is easier to swallow when it's mixed in with nostalgia. So the reason why there were so many references and almost exact carbon copies with minor changes was because what they were trying to accomplish with the movie as a whole was through the lens of, let me show you something that you've seen before, and being self-referential in that. And so that's what I'm saying. Like I couldn't catch them layers when I was high on the edibles, but bitch, I caught every last one. Right. And like once I pulled myself out of the emotion, like out of the disappointment, because I was so hyped up about it, and I was able to look at it from fresh eyes, and like, oh, you know what? Because I was sitting there thinking like, oh gosh, if I watch this again and I still get the same feeling, then it ruins it for me. And I was like, that internal struggle, but I'm gonna have to do it because I have to do it. And once I was able to like separate from my initial disappointment and just take it in for what it is without all these other influences, I then began to significantly appreciate what they were trying to accomplish with it. And I felt like, for the most part, not all of it, but for the most part, they were able to nail like what they were, the intention behind what this movie was trying to do.
Well, see, I love a good movie that makes you think. But when you have to go do so much more outside of actually watching the movie to get a movie, it's not a fucking movie. That's the
part I love.
Well, that's the point they were making with the movie.
I love it with the Marvel movies. I love it all. I'll go on YouTube and watch all that shit after it.
I love Easter eggs. I love the stuff that in between. But if I have to watch other things to break it down for movie, like it didn't do its job. I can see both sides of that. And sadly, I fall with majority on how the reviews went for this movie.
See, I think where it fell short for me is the reality part of the movie. Like everything that was in IO and like the machines, like Morpheus, like is like now a bot and was able to slither into the thing. That whole was like a little.
I thought that was super clever.
Oh really? Because I thought it was like
this notion that if you can have a sentient being, which is what we are. Enter into a electronic space, because it's all just electronic impulses that are happening, then why can't you have someone that is a artificial intelligent, an AI being, enter into and have some symbionts in what we call the real world? Like, I thought that was super, super clever. So
I didn't like that part of it. I thought Nick Jonas's wife was pretty as hell. She's so gorgeous to me. She's pretty to me. But yeah, so we'll see. I'll find some time to watch it again. But my initial reaction was like, like I was like, I don't hate it. And I was like, I do like it better than the third movie. The third movie to me was boo boo. The third movie was like
like for me, it's on par with number one, in part because it's. I love movies that make you think. I love intellectually stimulating, thought provoking kind of like. I want to be transported into this reality, and you tell me what this reality is all about. And as long as you're staying true to that, and you're not forcing me to suspend belief beyond the reality that you're creating, I'm so into that. So I appreciated this more than just an entertainment value as an entertainment value movie. So
yours goes 1, 4, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 4, 2, 3. I thought 3 was trash.
I think mine goes 1. Yeah, 3 was trash. I think mine goes 1, 2, 4, 3.
I think mine would be 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, community, there you have it. I know a few of y'all DM'd us.
Did y'all see the meme of the four Matrix movies? And like the first one is like a beautiful end of a horse with like the the tail, the mane of the horse. The second one, the horse looks a little worse than the first picture. Then the third movie, the picture of the horse got like 2 lines. And then the fourth one, the picture of the horse is like a smiley face. I gotta find it. It's literally this meme that just talked about like someone if you drew how beautiful the movies were, pretty, and it just gets uglier and uglier. So you got this llama looking thing. See.
Done.
It took me. Oh, I've just found it actually. I don't know if I can show y'all on here. Hold on. How to do this?
Right, get the beauty advisor. Oh, shut up.
Not the face, though.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. No, 3 is definitely boo-boo. And I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again just because, like, I was just so happy. I was so happy before it. And then I left, I was like, literally, I didn't want to agree in the moment with my brother and like my dad and my sister because they were like, "Oh, that wasn't it." But and so I was doing it probably just like ego wise. I was like, "No, it wasn't bad. It was pretty good." But in my heart of hearts, I was like,
Adam asked me after we left the movie because he didn't enjoy it at all. But he doesn't like those kind of movies anyway. But he asked me when we were leaving, so what did you think? And I was like,
it's like, bitch, I'm high. I don't know.
I need to sit. I need to, no.
She was quiet.
By that time,
so she was just like, what was the question again?
Oh, we went to the movies. What was that question again? That's funny. Well, community, let us know what you thought. Like, I know already a couple of y'all already told us, but yeah, I know y'all was looking forward to see what our reaction was because we hyped it up so much based on them trailers. Them trailers
I honestly have a feeling. I have a feeling that in hindsight, like, you know how how people, there's like a perception about a movie when it comes out, and then some time comes back, and then you come back and it's like actually now I can actually appreciate it for what it is. Like I had that moment earlier. Like I had that moment when I watched it originally because I had, again, there was so much emotion tied up into it that it was more about satisfying my emotion than actually taking in the movie, which I then got to appreciate when I watched the movie separately just to take it in by itself. Completely different experience. So I got
Carrie-Anne Moss still looks great though. She looks like
she looks fantastic.
I was like,
she looks fantastic. Maybe that was my problem. I had no emotion going into it, so maybe I should, maybe I should care the next time I watch it. I think that's how
Shut up. Oh,
well, you know what? That's true. I was probably being a little too petty when I went into watching this movie.
You probably was. You was like, oh, I hope this movie suck ass.
Probably.
You already said you was the Grinch.
Making me have to watch this movie.
I know she showed texted us. She's like, so what y'all think of the movie? I was like, oh, this is helpful.
It's a setup.
It was a setup.
Man. So was texting like,
see, this is why she couldn't be on the Real World,
right?
Because this is like level 1 to what she would have been doing like 15 years ago.
Period.
She would have flown out to eat both of our houses and then shot us in one leg.
Right.
Matrix from back.
I got your Matrix.
Right. Like, damn. But anyway, well, community, hopefully you had a great holiday. And sending your Ask Your Aunties questions if something like triggered you over the holiday that you want to talk about, or if something maybe went well over the holidays that you want to talk about. Send us your Ask Your Aunties at AYA@minorityReport.com or DM us. But we're back, bitch. It's a brand new year, 2022, brand new episode. So until next week, wash your hands, wash your legs, wash your ass, because you Latina. See you next week.
Bye, y'all.